Alright guys, so I wanted to let you know, I'm not a professional of any kind, deck builder, not a professional mechanic, none of that stuff, but this is the way I was always taught to build a deck. I'm going to draw it out for you on a piece of paper. I got a pad of paper right here. I'm going to show you how decks, in my opinion, should be built, because they're built in the exact same way a house is built. Right? If you go into an unfinished basement, you can see the way joists work, you can see the way the beams work, and how everything's held up. And it's pretty obvious that that works and holds up the second floor of a house, right? So that's the way a deck should be done too, because it's doing the same job. People are walking on it. That's the idea. And you use pressure-treated lumber because it's going outside. So there's a bit of an issue with our particular deck build, because after measuring things out, we don't have quite enough height to get beams the way we need them to be. So there are other ways to build deck that are still to code and everything like that. So I'm going to go through them with you real quick. Right here. All right, so we got our piece of paper, we got a marker. Here's the gist. This is like a side view, okay? You got, all right, this is a tube, right? And you fill this up with concrete, okay? And then you got another one over here, let's say. Oh, that wasn't very square. Fill the concrete. It's over here like this. Fill this with concrete. Okay, right, for example. Now, these are going to be your footings, right? These should go down 4 feet, at least 4 feet, because that's the frost line. So you auger down a bunch of holes. You stick in tubes, typically 10-inch to 12-inch tubes, and you fill them full of concrete. Okay. So then from there, you're going to have well, U-shaped supports, brackets, that's kind of the word. Hangers, I guess you could call them. They don't really hang, but they're brackets. All right, mounted to the tops of the concrete there. Okay, so then your beams, your boards, and these are beams. They're going to run inside these like this. And the way you do it is you get, these are 4 by 4, 4-inch by 4-inch brackets, and obviously 2x4s, 2x6, 2x8, 10, 12, whatever you want, are 2 inches wide. So you sister them together, which is what happens when you take a board, right? 2 boards, and you screw them or bolt them to each other. When you screw them and bolt them together, then you end up with a 4 by whatever beam. So 4 by 12 is ideal, right? 4 by 12. You can obviously go smaller than that, and it depends again on the size of your deck, and like a proper engineer would know the span between these points and how thick your boards would need to be for how far you're going to go and how much load you expect it to take. So I'm not an engineer by any means. So that's the gist. But so you got your 2 beams like that, or your 2 pieces of wood sistered together to create a beam. So now in theory, this is now a 4 by 12, okay? 4-inch wide, 12-inch tall. And it's sitting on these, and you're going to have as many as you need, right? How big your deck is, you just keep going, right? And then they go out across the length of the deck, okay? And then you'd have a board, okay, that attaches to your house. So let's just say, theoretically, here's a roof. I'm a terrible drawer. Not much of an artist. There's a roof, little eaves trough, there you go. You'd have a board, comes off your house, right here, 2 by 12 again, bolts into the house using lag bolts. Right, so you lag screw this big board, this is called a rim board, into the house, and then you'd use hangers on this. So you'd put a hanger on here, and the way a hanger works is it's basically, I'll draw you a little picture, kind of looks like this. It's got little fins that come off of it, like that. Okay? And so you stick nails in these little fins. So you nail this thing to your board, right here. Right? So you'd nail it into there. And then your joist hangs on this. And these, I'm sure you could get them in 4 by 4 or whatever, but these are intended for a 2 by 6, 2 by 8, 2 by 12, whatever it is that you're planning to hang for your actual joists. right? So the joists go on top of the beams. Okay, so the beams go across like that, right? They're going, let's say, the width of the house. See, there's the house, right? There's a door there, let's say. So these would go that way. And then the hangers go on there. So this should really be higher. It should be higher up like that. And this is kind of part of my problem I'm having in the backyard. So then these boards go across the tops like that. Hanger there. And then you don't need hangers along here, right? Because it's supported right on top of the wood, right? So there's no chance of the hangers not being able to take the load or anything like that. You're going to have basically things stacked. You're going to have concrete that goes down into the ground 4 feet. You're going to have a sistered beam, and then you're going to have your joists sandwiched on top of that. So there's no place for anything to move or to wiggle or to go, right? I'm not saying you don't have to use hangers or whatever. You can use whatever type of mounting bracket you want, but the way you then secure these is a hanger that kind of looks like, oh, how to describe this, kind of looks like a tortilla chip kind of thing. Comes across like that, but then it does the same thing going out. Here, I'm going to try and do like a, kind of thing. It goes this way, so you have a board that's going this direction, that nails go in this side, right? And then a board that's going this direction, and the nails are going to go in this one, right? So the nails go this way, and the nails go straight that way. And a board goes this way, and a board goes this way. And that's how you would join these together, okay? And then from there, right, so now you've got beams going this direction, right? You've got your joists going this direction, so think floor joists. Now you put your deck boards across those. So deck boards go across that, right? You can imagine now the total height of your deck, right, is decent. It's pretty substantial in order to get that kind of space that you need in order to do this. Either way, so your deck boards go across the top there. If, let's just say your deck is larger than, probably the biggest length you could get these in would be 16 feet. So if your deck is larger than 16 feet, the way this works is you cut these so that they, like they overhang the beam here. You cut them off there, and then your next one, so let's say your deck's even larger at 16 feet, or these are 16 feet. Let's say your deck is 20 feet. Okay, so you've got another hanger, another set of sistered boards in it. There you go. So then this piece comes over and it goes beside this piece. So these two boards go next to each other, like that. So it's still supported, it's still resting on top of this beam, and it's still resting on top of this beam. And those two boards there are just screwed to each other. You could use screws, legs, bolts, whatever. And that's how you get the support. And that's exactly the way a house works, just like this. You're going to have a load-bearing wall in your basement or some kind of a middle wall, and then things are going to span across and rest on top of it like that. So, like I said, I'm not a professional, but this, if you do it like this, I guarantee you it's going to hold, okay? At the end of the day, it comes down to how thick your boards are with how much it will hold, and how wide the span is between your supports as to how much it will hold. Okay, so that's that. Now, the problem we're having in the backyard is we've got this walkout kind of thing, a screen door, patio door, that's the word, patio door, right? And our concrete pad, right, comes over here. So we'd have to dig out a significant amount of ground to try to make this work. And then this deck would be sitting, kind of flush, and a lot of the stuff would be underground. It'd be kind of a mess in order to make this work. So the way that we are going to do the deck out the back is we've got our posts set up where they need to be. We're going to use 6x6 posts because they're going to go up actually like this, because we're going to put a roof structure on it. So we're going to create a 6x6, or we're going to put up 6x6 posts. Here, we'll use this one as an example. All right, so these are 6x6 now, and then we're going to build our roof off of that to cover up our deck. Okay? So, anyways, we don't have a whole lot of space to kind of work with my more traditional setup. So we're going to use hangers, right? These things up there. So we're going to use hangers, and we're going to use 2x12s, which are plenty large enough, and we're going to go straight across like this. We're going to have a middle beam. They're going to go across. We're going to use a hanger on here, a hanger on here, and then we'll go the rest of the span same way. Hanger on here, the beam that's going to be at the front, and a hanger on there. Okay? So, nothing wrong with using hangers, okay? In fact, as far as I know, it's the way that new builds are made anyways. They don't do this whole support over a beam thing. But when you use hangers, right, your load, right, because you're pushing down on this, well, your load is going to be completely carried by the piece of metal and the screws or nails that you use. So every bit of weight is getting pressed down on the supporting brackets and what's holding those supporting brackets in place, right? Whereas my other way of doing things, you have support going into the ground, then you have support there, and you've got the support here, right? So everything's stacked on top of each other. Nothing is beside the item the way it is with the hanger. You're literally just butting it up against the boards and using the hanger to carry the weight. So I don't really like doing it that way. I don't think it's the better way to do it. But either way will work. And for the sake of the space, so we don't have a deck that's 3 feet off the ground, we're going to use the hangers and we're going to go that route. But anyways, that's my rant. That's my explanation. If you have any questions, whatever, leave a comment. I'm sure I can help you out. Or somebody else in the comments maybe knows a thing or two that I don't. So, like I said, I'm not pretending to be a professional. This is how I want to do it. So, that's that. Thanks, guys.